So we just got ourselves some brand new Madolche support. And when I say support, I mean support. Yeah, despite how much I might have clickbaited you into watching this video, this brand new card doesn't really do that much for the art type. In fact, the art type's about as strong as it was before this card was released. As it is, now the card has been released. That being said though, it does offer a couple of new strategies and some cool plays you can do with the art type now this Link monster is in the game, and since just about every single person watching this has gone into the anniversary box and now owns the entirety of Madolche, I thought it was probably worth exploring at least. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see some more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, so apparently about 35% of you watching this are even subscribed to the channel, meaning 65% of you haven't even clicked that subscribe button yet. So if you guys are enjoying this kind of content, want to see some more deck lists from me in the future, more videos from me in the future, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into this deck list. Alright, so first thing you might notice about this deck list compared to some of the more standard builds you've probably seen before is I'm not playing the counter trap card. For this video, I decided to do something a little bit different with this art type. I decided to make as much use out of this card's effects as I possibly could by playing a face-up continuous spell in Madolche Ticket. This card is a fantastic resource generating card for the art type, and it now has the bonus effect of being protected by your Madolche Fresh Sistart, which protects all your face-up spell and trap cards. Two Madolche monsters. While this card points to a Madolche monster, Madolche spell and trap cards you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, neither player can target them with card effects. So if you have this thing on the field and you point it to one of your boss monsters, all of a sudden, your continuous spell and your field spell are completely defended from all of your opponent's sort of removal sources. Additionally, if this card on the field be destroyed battle or card effect, you can shuffle a Madolche monster from your graveyard into the deck instead. This is also sort of a reason why I'm not playing the counter trap, because the counter trap requires your graveyard to be empty, whereas this card requires you to actually have stuff in the graveyard. It's sort of a little bit negative synergy. Doesn't matter too much, because a lot of time you can just sort of set up your field so you can use the counter trap first, then fill up your graveyard by detaching things from your Xyz monsters. But still, I decided I want to take sort of a different approach and try out Madolche Ticket instead. When a Madolche card is returned from your side of the field or graveyard to your hand or main deck by a card effect, add one Madolche monster from your deck to your hand. But if you control face-up fairy type Madolche monster, you can summon it from your deck in face-up attack position instead of adding it to your hand. You can only use the effect once per turn. So not only can you use this on your own turn to generate resources, you can then use it on your opponent's turn to also generate resources by summoning cards like your Madolche Petingcessoeur that can summon out your Madolche Puddingcess from your deck, or you can just summon out some other just random ass things. Like you can summon out your Messengelato if you have your Hootcake on the field to search for your field spell, and just generate a shit ton of resources. As for the rest of the deck list, honestly, there isn't really anything else special about it outside the stuff I just mentioned. It's just your stock standard sort of Madolche cards. I have decided to opt out of any sort of back row removal and opt for more sort of actual disruption, considering going first now. Since we're not playing the counter trap, it's important to actually open back row. And also going second, there's just so much bullshit on the ladder right now that if you're just playing to try to out back row and front row, you're probably just not going to have enough removal for both. So I decided to just fully tech towards just dealing with monster deck lists, and if my opponent's playing a back row deck, well, if I go second, I'm probably going to lose that matchup. But as long as I'm winning a fuck ton going first, and winning sometimes going second, that shouldn't matter anyway. I'm probably going to climb with the deck list, so that was sort of my logic behind it. But without further ado, let's check out some gameplay showcasing all the cool combos you can do with this deck list. Alright, so I do want to quickly apologise in advance for the quality of today's replays. Unfortunately, it is late month King of Games, meaning the average player in COG is significantly worse compared to early months, and I'm versing things like Exodia FTKs and just Tier 0 Tachyon meta and just all this other bullshit, so it's kind of hard for me to get some super high quality replays. I sort of just try to gather replays that showed off all the standard end fields that I want you guys to be setting up, and that's basically what we aimed for. Some back and forth replays as well, but that was the general goal. So you guys get a rough understanding of how to play the deck, and then you can go mess around with it yourself on the ranked ladder. Alright, it was also hard for me to get some, like, win rate data or just some idea of how good the deck is, considering we are in a tier 0 format, so Tachyon just sort of shits on you regardless, and everyone else is playing, like, Exodia FTKs or just absolute dumb shit. But anyway, alright, so this first replay is just showing off the standard one-card combo, or standard with a new Blink monster, using Madolche Petingcessoeur. Now, this combo is vastly improved if you just open a second Madolche monster, as you'll see in some of the other replays, but if you just open just this card, this is what you can set up. Alright, so with no cards in graveyard, when you can special summon this card, and on doing so, you can summon out your Puddingcess from the deck, making it a level 4. Alright, and keep in mind we have a level 5 reload, so you can shuffle this card back into the deck list if you happen to open it. Right, these two cards become your Xyz monster, detaching one. You're just detaching one because you want a card in the graveyard for your next Link monster, or your next Xyz monster. Summoning your Chocolat. Alright, Chocolat can be shuffling back into the deck. Summoning out your Hootcake. Summoning out your Messengelato. Him on summon, as long as you have your Hootcake on the field, allows you to search for your ticket. Then ending on the Link monster, and making sure to put the Xyz monster in a place where it points to it. Alright. Ending on my fresh Sistart, activating the ticket, setting the stuff, and passing. Alright. So not the greatest end field, this is just the sort of backup end field if you just open literally only one copy of the, wherever it is. Is it attached onto here? Whatever the name of the card is, if you only open one copy of it, this is what you're going to be ending on. It's not as good because you generally want to end on the Xyz that can shuffle things back into the graveyard. You'll notice I forgot to shuffle the Spectral Sword into the graveyard here, but whatever. You'll see that in some other replays, I just kind of forgot what deck list I was playing against. Ice Dragon's Prison, and this guy concedes. Alright. It's not the greatest replay, that was just one to show off the standard setup for the one card combo, because you don't often do that one card combo. Normally you want to follow it up with another Madolche monster as well to improve your end field, so I just wanted to show off a standard one with that combo for if you do open it. Alright. So it's very bad I didn't actually banish that card, or shuffle the shuffle the level 2 into the deck list. Hopefully you'll see me do it in this replay. Alright. So once again, it's going to be the same combo, only this time, never mind, I got a fake Veiled. Alright. So now I'm going to normal summon this card, because the other one was special summon, making my rank 4. And this time I'm not going to forget to shuffle the opponent's Shiranui back into the deck list. This does have a bit of an interesting matchup into Shira if you go first, because getting rid of that level 2 does make it really hard for Shira to set up some proper end fields. So, not bad. It's like a free DD throw, sort of. And thankfully it was actually enough to stop me dying too. Alright, so this guy's uses quick effect targeting himself. This means it's immune to any sort of monster effect. So my opponent can't destroy it, it's chillin'. And I can keep shuffling my opponent's graveyard back into the deck list, just making it really annoying and hard for him to do stuff. Alright. I believe he goes for level 10 here. He just goes for Sun Saga, which thankfully the thing's immune, so it can't be destroyed, so fine by me. Pass the turn, and now hopefully this back row isn't anything too important. I activate my field spell to get rid of my graveyard, so my Petingcessoeur is live. Alright, making your... what's this card's name? Glassouffle? Something like that. Alright, again shuffling my opponent's graveyard because we're being really annoying. Putting the Chocolat on top. Shuffling back in, special summoning from the deck. There's the Hootcake. Banishing, summoning out the Petingcessoeur. Unfortunately, we hard drew this card, which is really annoying because it only works on special summon, and you can't special summon from hand with Hootcake, so a little bit annoying, but it's fine. Alright, Link summoning so we can get some cards in graveyard, because that way we can summon out our Tiaramisu, which now has resource in graveyard to use its effect. Very important to note with this card, obviously you can't use this effect unless you have some targets in the graveyard in the first place. So, yeah, Link summoning is a good way to put stuff in the graveyard for it. And thankfully my opponent didn't top deck into anything super annoying. Alright, so a nice little back and forth there. Didn't really get to show the standard setup yet, so hopefully this replay will. Sometimes I forget which replays I actually recorded. You'll notice the times of these are all sort of all over the place. I record them just at random ass times. Not necessarily all in a row either. As you notice by no high win streaks or something like that. Alright, getting gnomed. Gnomed is really annoying actually, because it means that your yes, your level 3's in hand, or your level 4's in hand, and not level 3, so... Thankfully we can still set up the Link Monster. This is actually a very boring replay. I just wanted to show how this deck list can set up under gnomes. It can still sort of set things up. Whereas before, without the Link Monster, you wouldn't be able to do a whole lot, so... I thought it was kind of cool. So setting up at least this card, Hootcake can summon, still get a search. And not the greatest Enfield because we're missing a rank 4, but at least we've got, oh, we're threatening lethal actually, so we didn't search for the other card. Did get Book of Moon though, so unlucky. But hopefully these IDPs are going to be enough to defend me. And yeah, I think my opponent just does absolutely nothing here. Spirit Master, unfortunately I had nothing graveyard to defend itself, but it doesn't matter. It's not a very exciting replay, that one. Just wanted to show off the what this deck list can do even under gnomes, which is something that you couldn't do before Link Monster was released, which is, yeah. Because the point of this video is to show off the new Link Monster and what you can do with the Link Monster, so I thought it was fun to show off one under gnomes. Alright, up against Mr. Alito here. Let's see what he was playing. Alright, 10 Yi. The fraud deck itself. I swear, I say this every single video, but I swear to God, 10 Yi is just like, I don't know, man. I don't trust this deck at all. I think it's just absolute hot garbage. I feel like every single time I play any road deck, every single one of them just does well into 10 Yi. It can't be just like every single deck is doing well into 10 Yi. At some point, it's just got to be 10 Yi isn't that great of a deck. If you have any sort of non-target removal, like, bro, they just do nothing. Well, to be fair, this guy didn't open up the Synchro Monster, but even if he did, we had 2 outs to it, so what does it matter? Alright, Magileine searching for my Petingcessoeur. Petingcessoeur can special summon itself. Summon him from the deck. These two make a copy of your Glass. Glass, of course, attaching, and be shuffling some of those annoying cards back into the deck. Making your Chocolate shuffle back in, revive. Hootcake banishing, summoning out my Petingcessoeur. Making my Sistart. These two become your Tiaramisu. Once again, unfortunately, we had this card in hand, so we couldn't search for the field spell, which is a bit annoying. But we've got 3 lots of back row, so I'm not particularly concerned about losing here. Especially considering we shuffled his graveyard, so he hasn't even got any resources in there anymore. Alright, moving on, Mr. Crumbs. Yeah, I'll keep calling 10 Yi a fraud deck to the day I die. Alright, up against Mr. Crumbs over here. I think this guy's playing, was it Live Twin? Duel. I'm talking out my ass. Either way, alright, so this is the standard setup. So, Magileine searching for your Petingcessoeur, special summon Petingcessoeur, summons from your deck list. Make your Glass. Glass going to be detaching. You always want, by the way, when you use this thing's effect, as you saw in one of those other previous Shiranui replays, you do get the prompt to immediately shuffle stuff back into the deck list. You don't want to do it immediately because you want to make sure the whole point of using this effect is you want to have a card in the graveyard as a target for the monster you climb into. So make sure to not just activate the prompt. You'll get it when you play the deck list. Alright, Chocolate shuffling back in, summoning from the deck, banishing from the graveyard, bringing it out. Searching for my ticket. Activating ticket. These 2 cards become the Link Monster. These 2 cards become the anti-graveyard. Setting 2 and passing. So this build is actually really nice, because at any point I can use this card's effect to detach, then summon out my Hootcake, which I've already shuffled back into the deck. Oh, I haven't shuffled it back in yet, but I will shuffle it back in with the Glass effect, and you can shuffle things like your Hootcake back into the deck list, which then you can use to follow up on future turns. You can also use the, not Puddingcess, whatever the level 4 card's name is, which I haven't got here for whatever reason. Summon out the level 4. Level 4 can then special summon this card back from the deck list, which you can also shuffle back in with your Graveyard Shuffler. And summoning it from the deck, summon the other one, gives you 2 extra monsters to use to follow up on the future turns. It just sets up a whole bunch just because you have this ticket on the field. I think I explained that very poorly. I chained this card's effect stupidly because I don't know why I chained this thing here. I'm up against a zombie deck. I didn't save my graveyard hater for some reason. Also, I can't even special summon to the field because zombie world's on the field, making these cards zombies and not fairy. Thankfully, I have my chalice to negate though. Dealings, draw, discard. Ice Dragon's Prison. Gonna be banishing his annoying stuff. Yeah, I played this duel so badly. Also, I had like 30 seconds left on the clock here, so I sort of panicked. I probably should have used this unicorn on the field spell. That way my ticket would have been active and I could have used this thing to summon out level 4 and actually made the an out that way, but I'm too stupid. Yeah, because everything's currently a zombie. I can only actually add cards to hand, not summon to the field. Because that requires a fairy on field, so... Not that it mattered, he had to wait to defend himself, so... Whatever. I played that duel so badly, actually. Alright, moving on. Alright. Up against Mr. What was this guy's name? 2 something. Oh, too lazy to read. And this is one of those matchups where you really want to have some sort of monster disruption against, yeah. So thankfully you opened 2 lots of it, because otherwise getting through this galaxy field is just, you're not gonna do it. They set up so many monster disruptions. If it's anything like the deck list I built, you set up 3 lots of monster disruption, so even this wouldn't be enough, but yeah. I think Madolche, for the most part, is just sort of a pray to God you go first all the time sort of deck. It's one of those decks that really gets affected if its normal summons disrupted, which is not great. You can set up at least 1 rank 4, but 1 rank 4 doesn't really do a whole lot, unless you can get a Madolche in graveyard as well. The trigger, of course, your so you can actually use this card's effect. If this card was able to use its effect, even without having a Madolche in the graveyard in the first place as a target, then it'd be so much better. But, yeah, whatever. Alright, so you can use the Book of Moon to trigger the effect. Gonna save the Chalice until, of course, he uses the Soul Flare. Unfortunately, he has Book of Moon, but he's a complete dumbass and left Puddingcess face up, which is obviously important, because if I use Puddingcess with this card, it can summon cards from deck lists, so he should have Book of Moon this. He would have completely won the game if he did, but he's a dumbass, thankfully. Alright, Magileine searching, he's going to use Soul Flare. Thankfully I've got my negate. I actually have no idea why he left this thing on the field. It has a way better effect too. The other one's just a vanilla, this thing actually has an effect. Anyway, summoning the glass, detaching, shuffling the Galaxy Eyes so we can't use them later on, which becomes very important on the next turn. Making the chocolate shuffling back in, and because he left this card as a material for it, it gets summoned from deck, Surging a field spell, these 2 can become the Link monster, which I don't even decide to do apparently. I guess the Link monster wasn't really doing a whole lot there. Oh no, because I had to use the extra monster zone of course, so didn't go for the Link monster. And thankfully, because I got rid of the Galaxy Eyes, despite him having Galaxy Knight and this card, they both require Galaxy Eyes, and because I shuffled them away, he actually can't do anything, so he got completely screwed over there. Alright. Moving on, final game. It's actually amazing how strong just a graveyard shuffle is currently. There's a lot of decks that really like using their graveyard. Unfortunately, Tachyon isn't really one of them. They have that one dragon that summons itself back and changes levels that's sometimes in the graveyard, but you can summon it from hand anyway, so... And sometimes it could do something. Alright, going second versus Shiranui. As if I remember correctly, this guy was pretty bad, which is why we won this. This is the deck where Book of Moon's feels completely dead against, by the way. You just need Chalice to deal with the Link monster. And even then, they can actually tribute the monster with their trap card, which is it just dodges the Chalice completely. And I guess if they do that, then they don't get the, they have to summon it to its arrow, right? So they can't actually tribute the Supremacy, I don't think. Alright, he's gonna use Book of Moon, which is really unfortunate, but we did get the Chalice to Supremacy, so at least he didn't summon back anything too big. We're just gonna set up a nice rank 4 here to hopefully shuffle his graveyard if we didn't get Book of Moon. Alright, he's gonna summon Slate into the field. Mizuki summoning another card. He actually he special summoned this thing. I think he thinks it gets the effect to special summon from deck, but that's only on normal summons, so at least I assume that's what he was thinking. Or maybe he just got all the tuners in graveyard anyway, so yeah, didn't have a whole lot of choice. Makes a sucker, and I don't know about that one, but anyway. Summons this card, which can't actually out the Madolche. Anyway, I literally didn't have to use a single one of my back row pieces versus this guy on his turn, so I don't know what he was doing. Definitely something going wrong here. Anyway, nothing in my graveyard, so I can get rid of some of his annoying stuff. Oh, sorry, I can use my Petingcessoeur special summon effect, summoning to the field. These cards are going to become my Sistart. Hootcake banishing, of course, summoning out your Messengelato, searching for the field spell for a billion attack. Making a Tiaramisu, that can remove 2 cards from the field. And of course with the huge stat boost, and of course IDP, he was very, 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 very dead. I think that was the last replay. It was. Alright guys, that'll do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. There'll be a bunch of Rush Duel content I'll be trying to make over the upcoming days to see if it's worth sort of going back and trying out the Rush Duel stuff. Of course, testing out maximum summoning and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, remember to like, subscribe, and of course, plenty of Speed Duel content coming out when we get new Speed Duel stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.